Okay, we're going to go over class practice C. The answers. Number 1, squirrels of all kinds can climb trees very well. This is a simple sentence because there's one independent clause, and we can diagram the skeleton as squirrels being our subject, can climb being our predicate, and therefore it's an independent clause and makes sense all by itself. Number 2, when they jump from treetop to treetop, they use their large tails for balance. This is a complex sentence because there's one independent clause and one dependent clause. The independent clause can be diagrammed as they being the subject, use as the predicate. And then we have a dependent clause which starts with when and can be diagrammed as they being the subject and jump being the verb. And remember that the dependent clause needs to rely on the independent clause to make sense. The eyes of a squirrel can see no color, but they quickly detect movement. So this is going to be a compound sentence because there's 2 independent clauses. The first clause can be diagrammed as eyes being the subject and can see being the predicate, but is our coordinating conjunction combining these 2 sentences. And the second one can be diagrammed as they being the subject and detect being the predicate. So both of these are independent clauses. Their senses of hearing and smell are keen. This is a simple sentence because there's only one independent clause. We can diagram it with senses being the subject and are being the verb. The flying squirrel is a nocturnal animal, but other squirrels are most active in early mornings and late afternoons. This is a compound sentence because there are 2 independent clauses. The first part of the sentence is flying squirrels being the subject and is being the verb. It's connected with the coordinating conjunction but, and the second part of the sentence can be diagrammed as squirrels being the subject and are being the verb. Both of these are independent clauses and can make sense all by themselves. Can make sense independently. Number 6, squirrels eat tree buds, which are high energy foods. This is a complex sentence because they both have an independent clause and dependent clause. So excuse the first part of that. It should be independent clause and dependent clause. So our independent clause would be diagrammed with squirrels being the subject and eat being the predicate. And then we have our dependent clause which starts with which, and are is our predicate. Next one is, although a squirrel may reach an age of 10 years, most live for only 2 or 3 years. Here we have a complex sentence because we have an independent clause and a dependent clause. The independent clause can be diagrammed with most as our subject and live as our predicate, and our dependent clause will be started with although and can be diagrammed with the subject being squirrel and may reach being the predicate. Alright, and that concludes the videos. Go ahead and for homework do the written exercise A, B, and C.